It's that time once again. Thanks for tuning in. It's Average Sports by some average guys, Eric and Ty. Glad to have you guys listening. Eric, how
What's
you doing?
Going on?
Yeah.
I'm doing awesome today.
You've been watching your sports, like eating your veggies, getting your vitamins?
I have been watching a lot of sports recently. Mostly I've been completely hooked on NHL playoffs. It is that time of year.
I know. I do like the NHL playoffs, which we're going to get to a little later. But did you see that almost no-no by Bartolo Colon? That guy's a stud still.
Saw
being
the
like
highlights.
43, whatever he is.
I saw the highlights. How is that guy still pitching? What is he, 97?
I don't know, and he's making defensive stops. It's unbelievable.
I mean, think about this. I physically remember seeing him pitch in 1997 against the Marlins for the Indians.
Yeah.
That was over 20 years ago.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I also saw that you wanted to talk about the NFL, some NFL news, Cowboys cutting Dez. What's that about?
Yeah, we got some NFL news. So we're not going to be talking about the draft. Even though that's coming up. We're not talking about that. That's not for today. But the Cowboys cut Dez Bryant. This has been a rumor for a little while, and they finally did it recently. And I can't say I was, as a Cowboys fan, I can't say I'm super shocked. He hasn't had a 1,000-yard season in 2-3 years.
Yeah. Well, so does he find a team or what?
Quite the disappointment and a lot of money. What's that?
Does he find a team?
I think he absolutely finds a team. I think there's a couple of teams that could really use him out there. He's a number 2. He can't be the guy. He has no speed, no separation. He's got to be a number 2, someone that can command just a lot more for him, or maybe even potentially move him into the slot. Although I don't think he's going to go for that.
Yeah. Well, what else was happening in the last couple of weeks since we've been on the air? The Masters took place. Some good golf going on, and we had a brand new Masters winner for I think the 3rd year in a row. And
that's correct.
Which is Patrick
3rd year
Reed.
in a row.
Yeah, the guy takes home $11 million for 4 days of golf in a beautiful golf course. It's like, that's the life right there. Did you get some of your Masters in?
He is a putting god.
Oh yeah.
He was crushing it.
He's the best in the world.
Everybody's always so fascinated with the whole, the long ball and Happy Gilmore in it, but you got to be able to putt. You got to put the ball in the hole if you're going to actually win.
Its bags are packed. You just got to send it home. Let's see here. 5 different guys that were finished 9 under. So it was a pretty competitive tournament. A lot of good stuff.
Yeah,
it
was pretty good. There was a lot of weather too early in the week. It seemed to be kind of all over
third
the place,
day or so when it softened
Friday,
up. Yeah,
Saturday,
everyone was shooting under 70. It seemed like it was crazy. Let's get into our first topic. I want to talk about some things that are happening related to the MLB in just a little bit, but we tease the NHL. I say let's jump into it. There have been some exciting games. I think overall, being first round, there's not a ton of surprises. Even when you look at the Blue Jackets going against Washington, I mean, is it really any surprise they went up 2-0 on the series and going into overtime in their 3rd game?
Well, I mean, it's Washington, so
exactly.
Is anybody surprised if Washington's going to lose in the second round? Because that's what they do.
Yeah, they're lovable losers, though. For me, I want to see them do well, make it to at least the conference finals. I don't want to see another Pittsburgh make it out, so it'd be great to see them win a couple games. But I think that's been a really interesting series as well.
It's been interesting to an extent for me. I'm not a big Washington Capitals fan in general. And they obviously have a history of losing and kind of getting down early, either in the first or the second round. But I think it would definitely be an upset if Columbus pulls this off.
I mean, they're just stacked on talent. They should be a lot better than they do.
Yeah.
But you like that Winnipeg series, right?
I do like the Winnipeg-Minnesota series. Now, Game 3 was kind of got away from Winnipeg there at the end there, but it has been a competitive series, quite physical, although Game 4, which is on right now, has not been overly physical, but it's a 1-0 game late in the 3rd here. I actually have it on mute right now as I'm sitting here. It's been quite an entertaining series and very competitive. I wouldn't be surprised if that one can go much longer if Minnesota can somehow figure out how to tie it up here late.
Yeah, absolutely. And then one team I've definitely had an eye on is Vegas Golden Knights, being the inaugural season, just seeing how a bunch of guys that were blended together for that expansion draft, they are killing the Kings right now, going up 3-0.
what a story that is. An
Yeah.
expansion team. Think about that. Like in modern day sports, the expansion team, not only did they make the playoffs, they are the top seed in the Pacific, and they are absolutely rolling through Los Angeles right now, which has had a strong history recently of being quite good.
Oh, yeah.
Including winning a cup
Yeah,
3
they got
years ago.
and they've been getting to quick. I know the first couple of games not so
Yes, they
much,
have.
but I think the last game they really put some past them.
Hmm. Yeah, it's quite a story for them. I don't know that they're going to be able to come out of the West just with Nashville there, but I'm not going to be surprised if for some way somehow they can get to the finals. And then, major sports story there is if they're able to potentially win a cup in their first year. I know we're way off from that. But if they're able to do that, is that a bigger story than the 2016 Cubs? Question to ponder for a later date. We'll have to table that.
I like that, yeah. Speaking, though, of some champions, who do you think you got in the Stanley Cup Finals?
In the Stanley Cup, I think I like Nashville out of the West.
Sure.
I don't know how that's not going to be it at the moment as we look at things.
And then in the
and I'm
East?
still going to stick with Tampa.
Yeah.
I've been on the fence now. I think that second round series between Tampa and Boston is going to be very telling, and I think the winner of that series is going to go to the Stanley Cup.
That's going to be a tough one. That could easily
Pittsburgh
be a Game 7 series, and which looks like it's heading that way, even though the Devils got a game on Tampa Bay. But, you're not going to go perfect on the road to the Cup. Well, it's going to be fun to see. If you guys aren't watching the NHL playoffs, you got to get out there and definitely tune into a game or two. Let's change gears, though, over back to MLB. I know we've talked enough about baseball for a little while, and we're going to talk some more about it because I love it. It's my favorite sport. I can't get enough of it. And I want to talk about some things that have been happening, not just for the new rules. I want to talk about, some new things that we've seen and just try to get some opinions on. The other day, Eric, you turned me on to Facebook streaming games.
What they're doing is they're doing it on, I think, I haven't looked at the schedule, but from what I've seen, I'm getting the reminders. They're on Wednesdays. They're day games. They're games that traditionally are probably going to be low crowds anyway that are actually going to attend. People are at work, middle of the week, day game. And that's what the ones they're streaming them on Facebook. They're not available on your local cable channel. So, Fox Sports Midwest here for the Cardinals, that was the game that was on the other day for the Facebook live stream. And I'm a fan of this. Baseball is really trying to lure in younger, more youthful fans and crowds, and I don't think they do a great job of putting their stars out there, but I think this is a really good avenue for them to explore. And of course, being such a traditional baseball city that I live in, and they absolutely hated it here. God forbid that you try and do anything new in this city to get anything rolling, but I love the idea. I think it's awesome. Every team gets 1-2 games, I think, tops.
Yeah.
You're going to get it. So every fan base is going to go through this. It's not like every Wednesday Cardinal game or every Wednesday Royals game or whatever.
Right. Yeah, they're kind of an
Facebook.
Unbiased, look at different clubs from around the league. And that happened to be a good matchup, though, between Cards and the Brewers. I mean, that's a division matchup. And not to plug Facebook too much or sound like we're really all about them, that's a free thing, though. MLB is streaming those games with Facebook for free. The only thing I didn't like, I did watch the game, but the streaming, the comments, the chats, you can't, I couldn't, at least myself, easily switch them off. I didn't find that function that I could just move the chat away. So you're constantly seeing this scrolling of comments going on and on. Yeah. But I think it is a great initiative. And when you see those kind of enhancements going on in baseball, to me, it's very akin to those digital K zones you see on live broadcasts. Do you like those?
The K zones?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I do.
You're into it? Okay.
I don't mind
it. At a certain
it
point, though, do you just say, let's go all digital and keep it automatic?
As far as
or make it automatic, so like not even needing an umpire, right?
No, I do like that portion of it. I think that's part of what sports is. You can't totally take the human element out of it. I think that's what makes sports so great, is that there is that human element. But I do like to generally see the K zone just to, it gives you a general idea as you're watching the game, what's getting called, what's close, what's not. And so I like the umpire situation, but I do like the generalization of the K zone, because even then for a K zone, it changes for every batter. It's never the same. I mean, Giancarlo Stanton is, how tall is he? 6'7", 6'8". I mean, take your average baseball player, that dude's strike zone is smaller.
Yeah. And with the new rule of how many times you can visit the mound, I'm fine with it. But you start to see now a kind of almost like a timeout counter on the box score on screen.
Yeah.
And if that is such an easy thing to adapt, why not put the records of all the teams on screen? You've heard me talk about this. We need the records of every team. Whenever you're watching a game, just have them up. I don't know how it's that hard to do or why that doesn't happen. But I was watching, for example, Philly versus Atlanta. A game happened to be on, and I didn't know if what I was watching was even competitive, outside of knowing that they were in the same division. But then I looked them up, and Philly, you know what? They're not off to a bad start. And they can actually be competitive against Atlanta. Whereas a Miami versus the Yankees, which was going on recently, or it is still going on, I mean, come on. I don't have a lot of stake or interest in that matchup. And then knowing how well the Angels are doing. Now, that's some stuff I put into memory, but if you see that on screen and you're not always watching the games, I want to see some scores. I'm just going to leave it at that.
I'm with you, man. I want to see the records too.
All right.
I'm totally with you on this. I want to see the records. You and I were talking pre-show about this. Yeah. I was trying to look up all the playoff settings, where the playoffs are, standings for all the matchups within the NBA and the NHL, and I just went in the bracket format. How hard is that? Why do I have to click through each individual team, like through the actual ESPN app, to be like, oh, Vegas is winning 3-0, or Miami Heat and 76ers are tied 1-1 in their series? Why can't I just see all 8 matchups in front of me, see what the scores and the series lead is, and all of those? How simple is that?
So I got a hypothetical for you, Eric.
What's that?
If you had a chance to take a box suite at any baseball game, or go to an NHL playoff game, I guess any of the current ones, but you had to sit in the nosebleed section, what would it be?
Okay, so we need some clarifying questions here.
So it's you with the details. I thought that was pretty good. Yeah. That's out there. Box suite. So you get anything you want. You can have all the drink, food, beer, whatever.
So it's open bar.
Oh, yeah.
Open beer.
Oh, yeah. You're
food.
Going home 3 sheets, my friend. And you're going to be hanging out, having best views. Bring anyone you want. Oh, yeah. Like 15 people, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. Got space.
I've enjoyed some of those before in the past, and they're great.
Yeah, any NHL playoff game going on right now, but you had to sit, upper terrace, just you, maybe one other person. Like, we'll say you get to bring a guest.
Okay. So me and one other person, in any of the first rounds, I would easily pick the box suite for a baseball game over any first-round matchup in the nosebleeds. If we start getting into a good second-round matchup, especially late in the series, or Eastern Western Conference Final, or in particular Stanley Cup, that may change my mind.
It may change your mind. I feel like you're already going to
game one.
You want to take a box suite.
Game two.
Yeah.
Yeah, game 1, game 2, even of the series, I think I would probably almost always pass on if I'm going to get the chance.
Even if it was the Stanley Cup Finals?
Poof. Yeah, maybe outside of the Stanley Cup Finals, because I've never been.
I don't know, man. Hockey is just the best live sport to see. It'd be fun to get rowdy. I don't know if I would.
It's a great sport to.
Yeah.
It's a great sport.
All right, well, let's get into our lightning round standings of the episode. Today we're going to focus on the MLB. So, Eric, take it away, man. You got National.
All right, man. So let's kind of roll through here. We got a little bit of a surprise. I don't know that too many people expected in the NL East to have the Mets sitting up there at 12-4.
For real.
Atlanta's off to a pretty hot start as well, too, and most people didn't expect that. Rounding out the middle there, you got Philadelphia, Washington, which is this huge surprise, sitting at 500. And then, of course, Miami being the cellar dweller. That's not a surprise to anybody. NL Central, you got Pittsburgh up top, which is a huge surprise, although, missing a few players and just had a key injury there. They might be dropping off towards the end. You got St. Louis, Chicago, Milwaukee, and rounding out Cincinnati, which is off